Yo, so I recently had somewhat of a revelation in my life, and not too much of a revelation per se, but more like a reinforcement of something that I kind of already knew, but never really thought about or addressed because I thought I'd be able to navigate it at some point. And it's that I think I'm low key scared of success. Like, I know that might sound crazy to some people. You don't want nothing better for yourself? Like, what do you mean you scared of success? Shit. If I was in your position, I'd do this, and that, and yeah, like, shut the fuck up for a second, alright? Just let me cook, alright? I really do know it sounds crazy, but it's something that can be very true, and just stick around for a second because it might be something that relates to you, and if it doesn't yet, it might at some point, so just hear me out, right? So, I've always dealt with this issue with myself where I ruin things for myself a lot. It's a concept called self-sabotage, which, if you don't know what it is, essentially I know I'm not supposed to be too scripted here, but I'm just gonna Google it. I'm not really trying to misconstrue anything here, even though I generally think I have an understanding, but whatever. Self-sabotage is the act of consciously or unconsciously interfering with one's own goals and well-being. Right? So essentially, you're ruining things for yourself. This can be in the form of procrastination. This can be in the form of refusal to seek or accept help. There's a lot of versions of this. Now, to give you guys some background on sort of the type of person that I am so you can understand why this would even be a thing is, I'm someone that, whether I actually did it or not, I always have the expectation that at some point, whether it's now, whether it's sooner than later, whether it's later than sooner, if that's even a fucking thing that exists, I always think that I'm going to disappoint people, whether that's my parents, whether that's my friends, whether that's people on the internet, right? It's pretty much just a matter of when. Every time I met someone new or befriended someone, or every time someone like a teacher would have something nice to say about me, I'd like it, in a sense that it gave me dopamine. It made me feel good. Who doesn't like people saying nice things about them? But what that did is it put a lot of pressure on me. Why? I don't know. It just kind of happens. Now, some people deal with pressure differently. Some people deal with pressure and they feel the need to go extra hard to live up to the expectations. Some people go through pressure and they feel the need to do absolutely nothing. And for me, it really depends. It could go either way sometimes. But for the most part, because I was expecting to disappoint somebody anyway, I'd rather it just kind of happen early. For example, let's say that there was something that I was decent at. I had some sort of an affinity towards it. It's something that I kind of took to decently naturally and I'm good at, but just not good enough to where I could do it like I know the back of my hand, you know? And someone made a comment on that. Someone enjoyed my work or whatever the case may be. I would take what they say and it would make me want to just kind of quit, or it would make me want to like not do it anymore. And I know what you guys are probably thinking. Wait, if you don't like disappointing people, then why would you quit or not do the thing that they thought you were good at anymore? And that's really just because I'd rather disappoint someone because I didn't try rather than disappoint somebody because I was inadequate and I didn't live up to their expectations. Instead of living up to their expectations or not, lower their expectations so they expect less out of you. So when you actually give them whatever it is that you give them, they can't necessarily be disappointed. This is a very shitty way to walk through life, and I'm not going to say that I treated everything like this. There were things that I was talented at that I knew I could consistently deliver on, and those were the things that I would kind of, live up to because I enjoyed doing them. I knew I could deliver every single time, and, I'm not going to pretend to be terrible at something to a degree. There's some things that go very well and in your favor, and you're not sure that you're going to be able to deliver the next time. Or if you deliver 2 times, you're not sure that you're going to be able to deliver the time after that. And those are really the things that I struggled with. A lot of the things that you can't control, like, someone might find me funny this day and 2 days later, they might develop a different taste in the things that they find funny. And suddenly, like, I'm just like this fucking loser, like stuff like that. The examples probably aren't the best, but it is what it is. The point is that I think this is an attitude that carried over a lot into my current habits. I think it's this mindset combined with kind of just the way that we're encouraged to think about things in Western society, at least. For example, I think everyone tells you that you need to be successful, and a lot of people will even teach you how to be successful, but it's rare that we really see a scenario where someone teaches you how to navigate through that success. What happens when you actually make it? What happens when you actually accomplish your goals? What happens when you check off all those boxes? How do you make sure that you're still in a sustainable position? How do you make sure that you're still happy in life? Because I feel like accomplishing your goals is often advertised to us as the end of the story. Think about any movie you've ever watched, ever. The plot is usually over when the main goal is accomplished, right? Team Avatar had to defeat the Fire Lord and stop the war. SpongeBob had to get his boating license. Well, he still didn't get his boating license, but when he does, like, what's gonna happen after that? Shit, to be honest, the reason he probably didn't get his bowling license is because you'd run out of plot at that point. Like, okay, SpongeBob got his boating license, cool. Like, now we can't make the jokes about him being a shitty driver anymore, you know? It's a whole element that's just kind of thrown in the garbage after that. The point is, like, every time the major goal is accomplished, the story usually ends. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that really is how most of us are encouraged to think about everyday life. I remember bringing this up in a conversation with my friend, that I remember when I felt like I was working towards my goals, I could always find a YouTube video or someone out in the street that could give me some sort of general advice. Like, everyone can teach you how to start. There's millions of resources of people that can teach you how to start or how to navigate through the beginning of something. But then when you hit that median level or that high level of whatever it is that you're doing, suddenly there's less tutorials. When you're at the beginning stages of something, or you're just beginning something, or you're just not very far along when it comes to you accomplishing anything, there are quite literally thousands of resources that teach you how to get to that next level. Then when you scale and you scale and you scale and you get to that like median to high level of success and whatever it is that you're achieving, there's like nothing, because less people have been in that spot to give you advice. Now you have to like actually reach out to people or just kind of figure things out on your own. But like, we don't even really live in an age where it's the easiest thing, right? Whether that's a mental barrier or just the actual barrier of people just being assholes and not wanting to give advice or share things with other people. Like, it's just really hard. And the reality is, you never really hear too much about failure stories, at least in regards to people that tried and failed. Most failure stories are the sequel to the success stories. They're just the sequels to the success stories that went straight to DVD. They're usually about someone that made it and fell off. And there's millions of those, and those are the only failure stories we see. And that's simply because most failures are not documented because they didn't make it in the first place. It's like you fight and claw to get to this certain level, thinking that it would just be the best thing ever, but then eventually it gets so isolating. There's less people to relate to. There's less resources to figure out how to navigate your life. It can just be a little bit demoralizing sometimes. And it doesn't help that a lot of us are only conditioned to be productive when we're trying to get it out the mud, or we have some sort of like a chip on our shoulder or something keeping us down. Like, yeah, I gotta get out the hood, or yeah, this person doubts me, so I gotta prove them wrong, right? We can think so productively when there are things that are actively working against us. We're driven by the things that make it hard for us, so much to the point where, like, for a majority of people, I'd even go as far as to say that if you remove their immediate problems, you'd remove, like, I kid you not, 80% of their reason for existing at all. You'd remove 80% of their motivation. You'd remove 80% of why they do the things that they do. This is why so many people get rich and then they end up depressed, because they didn't even necessarily want to be rich per se. They just knew that money could solve the problems that they had to deal with in their everyday life based on where they were. And I'll be honest, like, I'll admit that I'm one of those people that I feel like kind of loses hunger whenever I accomplish my mainstay goals. I can think myself out of a problem amazingly, but like, when I don't have problems to solve, it's like I can't just start something from scratch. It's like I have to fight my way out of something to be able to do shit productively, and I really hate that about myself. I'm trying not to curse too much, but like, I hate that, bro. Like, why? Like, why do things have to be like that? Why do things have to be so complicated? Why can I only use my brain when I have to think myself out of a problem? Why can't I just use my brain productively? I'll literally accomplish my goals just to prove that I can do it. And then after that, it's like, okay, now what? And it's not that I don't have a long-term plan or vision or anything like that. It's just the feeling that makes you want to immediately take action when you accomplish your goals is just like, it kind of fades a little bit. And I don't know, it's crazy because I know what I want. A lot of people are going to sit there and be like, you don't know what you want, or you thought you knew what you want and you didn't. But like, nah, I really do. Trust me, I do. I know what I want. I know why I want it. And I have an understanding of everything that I will sacrifice and am willing to sacrifice for the life that I want. But I think overall, it's just the mindset, that self-sabotage mindset, that only being willing to do things to prove shit mindset. It's like how people say Batman needs the Joker, otherwise he kind of just loses himself. It feels like I need a problem to solve. I need a problem to solve, or else I feel like I have no reason to do anything at all. I don't think as productively. And that's a problem, man. That's a problem that's rooted in a lot of things that I really feel like I need to solve. And, you know, and to be completely honest with you guys, I know that some of you probably thought this was going to be like some sort of revelation, but like it really isn't. It's something that I'm still actively dealing with, and I just thought, you know, why not just put my thoughts out there and make a video about it. But yeah, that's just something that I really thought about recently, and it's something that has been holding me back a lot just in life. It's why I probably attract the people that I do. It's why I'm in a lot of situations that I'm in. Shoot, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below if you have any potential solutions or recommendations. Just want to say hi. I don't really give a shit. Just, you know, leave a comment if any of this speaks to you in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, that's really all I got for you guys tonight. Yeah, later.